CTV News with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. A 36-year-old snowmobiler from Shigang has died following a fatal crash over the weekend. OPP were called to a trail C-107D near Greenbush Road in Northeastern Manitoulin and the Islands around 1:30 Saturday morning. Investigators say the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. The case is now in the hands of the coroner. The trail was fully closed throughout the weekend while first responders were on scene. 2 teens have been arrested after being spotted tampering with snowmobiles in Timiskaming Shores. Police were called to a residential parking lot on Georgina Avenue just before midnight Saturday where the teens had been seen. According to the OPP, the pair were caught a short time later and one of them was in possession of this replica handgun. A 16 and 18-year-old have been charged with theft. The 18-year-old also faces weapons charges. Multiple charges are being laid against a 41-year-old who was driving a commercial truck missing a tire. OPP pulled the transport over Friday in LaCour Township after spotting the vehicle was missing a wheel while doing 100 kilometers an hour along Highway 17. The truck is owned by a Manitoba-based company. Both the company and driver are being charged for the unsafe condition of the vehicle. A big infrastructure project in the city of Timiskaming Shores is getting some big help from the province. City officials have revealed they were successful in getting funding from the province for upgrades to the sewage plant in New Liskeard. The plant is roughly 18 years old. It's a $7.7 million project, and Ontario came through with $4.9 million. The city's mayor telling CTV News they're still waiting to hear back from the federal government to see if it plans to help with the rest of the funding.
With this upgrade, not only does it, really improve the system, but it also improves the capacity at the lagoon site. So where we're seeing a little bit of growth in some new housing and everything, this will certainly help us, in a couple of different areas.
Work is expected to start sometime in the spring, and it'll likely take about 2 years to finish. Mattawa Town Council is calling on the provincial government to further strengthen and protect 2 key industries that are prominent in Northern Ontario, steel and softwood lumber. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
Following in the footsteps of another Northern Ontario township, Mattawa Town Council is urging the province to do more to protect the steel and lumber industries.
We still have a lot of people that depend in Mattawa, especially on the forestry industry.
Nairn and Hyman Township passed a motion in early December calling for urgent support. Municipalities across the north are facing uncertain economic challenges, including the shutdown of Mattawa's Tembec sawmill and Domtar, a pulp and paper mill in Espanola.
That really set us back quite a few paces.
Northern Ontario was built on these industries, and I guess I can understand the frustration.
The town will send a notice of support to all levels of government, the Minister of Natural Resources, the Minister of Northern Development, and all Ontario municipalities.
Our Premier says, everything's on the table. We want to keep Ontario strong.
Fanum praised the federal government for tightening tariff rate quotas on foreign steel imports, opening roughly $850 million in domestic demand, while also allocating $500 million in new financing for softwood lumber firms, paired with a $500 million expansion of the Business Development Bank of Canada's Softwood Guarantee Program.
Making sure that we're firing on all cylinders and making sure that our smaller communities are ready to adapt and to take on the challenge.
Mattawa Council is requesting the province introduce additional financial, regulatory and policy-based supports to ensure steel and lumber sectors remain competitive and are able to withstand ongoing tariff pressures.
You can save losing jobs. It's worthwhile. Give a little to make a little.
According to the province, most steel made in Canada comes from Ontario, directly employing over 17,000 people. Forestry provides around 128,000 jobs, including many in rural and northern communities. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
This is the first season since the city of Greater Sudbury decided to keep open the Lively Ski Hill. Those who helped save it report usage this winter shows their efforts were worthwhile. CTV's Angela Gemmel reports.
Dozens wait in line to take the pommel lift up to the top of the lively ski hill. The facility is buzzing with more than 160 skiers and snowboarders this family day.
It's not just Lively that's here, it's people from all over Sudbury coming to experience these things. It's been an unbelievable show of support from the community to come out. Sudbury's a beautiful spot in the winter. We want to use the outdoors as best as we can.
Last year, the city had been considering closing the hill due to low numbers, but a volunteer committee stepped up to help increase usage, and it was saved. They've added a terrain section with jumps and rails and affordable user fees. But it's the size that's most appealing for many families, introducing young children to skiing and snowboarding.
I think it's a little bit easier for my little brother because he's just starting to ski.
I find it's really fun and I want to do it again.
Yeah?
I want to do it again too.
This family has been coming since they moved from BC 7 years ago.
It's super affordable, and the city's done an awesome job along with all the volunteers just like turning this place around. It's awesome. We ski here more than we ski anywhere else just because it's our favorite place to ski.
It's got that perfect blend of small but yet still challenging. Whether you're hitting our jumps and our rails, because we've got a really good beginner jumps and rail program here as well this year, or just really getting a few runs under your belt before you get onto some of those bigger hills.
Kurt says there's been an unbelievable show of support from the community to embrace the hill. He adds next year, the committee wants to fundraise towards upgrades for the chalet facility. Each time it's open, the lively ski hill sees an average of 150 users and is expected to be open until the end of March break. Angela Gemmel, CTV News, Lively.
Time for our first check on weather. Let's go to CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick, a few of us were serving pancakes at the Beaver Lake Winter Carnival over the weekend, and I've been told by multiple people you were missed.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to commit myself right now. Next year at the same time, I will be there. I will be there, and we'll have to do my due diligence because it's a great time. Beaver Lake, awesome community, and I missed the pancakes as well. I knew there was something missing this past weekend. Systems map, we've got a mixed bag of weather. We've got rain, flurries, drizzle, freezing drizzle, and of course, some milder temperatures for at least one more day. Then we've got snow in the forecast coming up in just a couple of days. So again, it's a mixed bag. Conditions, temperatures, as you can see, that system about to approach northeastern Ontario. That's late tomorrow evening. Some snow on Wednesday. We'll get into that and a lot more a little bit later on, Ian, on the 7-day forecast. Back to you.
I like mild. All right. Thanks so much, Rick. There's more to come here on CTV News. For now, let's go back to Elliott Lake for a live shot of the boat launch. This shot coming courtesy of the city, where it is looking like quite the winter wonderland over there today. Lots of ice fishers I hear there over the weekend. Also, I think I see some snow in the background. How long that will last, we'll ask Rick. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The Sudbury Women's Center is seeing a group of women interested in learning more from trailblazers across male-dominated industries. It's all part of a workshop series aimed at advancing workplace equity and inclusion. CTV's Lindsay Ehrlich reports.
These are the faces of the women who will be featured in the Breaking Down Barriers workshop series put on by the Sudbury Women's Center.
This project is to help support women in male-populated industries, help kind of break those barriers and support them in navigating those barriers, while also helping the organizations build more inclusive workplaces.
Funded by the Women and Gender Equity Grant, Sudbury Women's Center will provide training in Sudbury, Manitoulin, North Bay, Timmins, Thunder Bay, and Sault Ste. Marie.
This really strongly aligns with what I advocate for. So I help women who don't have access to traditional resources and business and education credentials really look at how they can overcome barriers. So to have this accessible in Sudbury, and I was hearing from Samantha, this is also a program across Northern Ontario, I think it's going to be hugely beneficial.
Lorelei Ratushniak is the first speaker in the series. She's the founder of a management consulting firm, a director of mining relations, and Miss Regional Canada.
When we feel like we don't have enough resources, or we don't have the right credentials, or we're not seeing in our external world what we need to be successful, we can talk ourselves out of things. So I think there's a lot of real barriers I want to explore internally and have women understand, what does it really mean to change? What are some of those maybe beliefs that don't serve us, that we unconsciously are carrying with us, that are getting in the way of either applying for a job or maybe speaking up?
From tech and construction to emergency services and business, the series gets underway at the Sudbury Women's Center February 18th and runs Wednesdays 6 to 8 p.m. until March 25th. Lindsay Alex, CTV News, Sudbury.
The North Shore Health Network is advising that the Thessalon site's emergency department will be closed tomorrow. The site is expected to reopen Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Sioux Area Hospital, the Blind River, and Richards Landing emergency rooms will all remain open. Public Health Sudbury and Districts has issued a drinking water advisory for Chelmsford area residents on Vermilion Lake Road. Affected homes include Vermilion Lake Road and Highway 144 west of Jonette Road. Boiling water may not make it safe to drink, but the water is safe for laundry and bathing. The advisory comes after a water main break Saturday in the area, which may have compromised the drinking water. A reminder today from officials in Timmins, motorists, that there are new pedestrian crossings up across the city. Among the new crossings, there's one on Mount Joy at 5th, one at Airport Road west of College, and one at King at Kruzanirik. Sorry if I got that wrong. All drivers and cyclists have to stop when there is a pedestrian there who is looking to cross. Not a stopping could include a fine and demerit points. Gloomy weather in the Sioux didn't discourage young locals from enjoying the variety of Bonsu activities. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more on the Family Day fun at the annual Winter Carnival.
The machine shop was a busy place for Family Day as locals took advantage of the day off of work and school to enjoy some togetherness and let the kids take in some classic outdoor activities.
It's a perfect bonding experience. While my mom takes care of my youngest, I get to go with my oldest and spend good quality time, just me and her. There's good quality of people here. It's a fun, safe activity for the whole family to enjoy.
My whole family, because we can do a lot of fun stuff together. I like that when we get to ice skate and when we also get to play on the slides.
The layout of the main area in the Canal District has seen some changes with new activities for the kids in addition to the bum slides that always draw the big crowds. And though the rainy weather may have turned some away, it holds advantages according to the experts.
I like the parkour like this, and then I like the slide, and that's all.
Why do you like it?
Because the slides, when it's raining, it's super slidey.
This year saw the addition of a campfire cabin, bringing acoustic jams and perhaps the forecasting hopes of some attendees. Mother Nature's cooperation has not been common in recent years at the Winter Carnival, meaning an increase of indoor activities all week long. For the youth in attendance, indoors or out, this beats the place they'd usually be on a Monday.
Way better than school, because you got to do so much more stuff, and you don't have to do homework.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Well, what's in a name? We are soon about to find out what residents in West Nipissing think. They're in the midst of voting on new fun names for their Zambonis and plows. And when I say fun, they got really creative in some of the choices they're voting on. Names like Poutine It in Reverse, Jean-Guy the Rubber Plow in honor of a Sturgeon Falls establishment, we're told, and Obi-Wan Zamboni. Voting is open now on the municipality's website. It's the idea of Councillor Chris Rivard, who tells CTV News he's hopeful it'll provide a smile to many in the community.
I was really happy with how much participation we got. I see there must be quite a few dozen names there, a lot of options, and now we're just in the voting stage, and I hope people participate again and we make sure that we get the ones that best represent West Nipissing.
Some of the names up for grabs are in both French and English to honor the community's bilingual roots, and the estimated cost to apply these names, roughly $1,400. I like Jean-Guy de Rubber Plow. Back now for a check of the current conditions with Rick Wyman. And Rick, lots of creative names there in Sturgeon Falls. Any favorite of yours?
Yes. Sled Zeppelin for the Zamboni, and I also like your Obi-Wan Zamboni reference as well, but some really cool names, French and English. A couple of French ones I really like, but we can't mention them on TV because we're crossing that fine line. Current conditions, Ian, we've got mixed precipitation throughout the Northeast for this evening. Rain, freezing rain, flurries, drizzle, freezing drizzle, all that prospect going on across the Northeast. And then we've got some snow by Wednesday, so we'll check that out and see what that brings. We'll have more information on the conditions coming up by tomorrow. Here we are, Moosonee +1. Take a look at these temperatures. 1 in Cochrane, 2 in Timmins, Kapuskasing at 2 as well. So again, the conditions varying. Big difference from last Friday. +1, some rain in Chapleau, 0 in Wawa, some fog in the Sioux at +1 as well. Moving on over to Parry Sound, +1, and we've got some rain as well. And continuing our quest to find the right temperature, 0 in North Bay, light precipitation, Temiskaming Shores 0, Kirkland Lake at +1 as well. So again, here we go. Sudbury Nickel Belt -1, Espanola 0, Elliott Lake 1, and fog in Gore Bay. Your current conditions, Ian. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Our picks of the day and, of course, the 7-day forecast. Back to you.
Thanks, Rick. Next on CTV News at 6. The police tape is now coming down around the scene of that horrific shooting in BC. And meet the person who will now be representing Canada in negotiations with the U.S. Tumbler Ridge Secondary School has been turned back over to the area school district after the RCMP completed its investigation into last week's deadly mass shooting. 5 students and a teacher were fatally shot at the school last Tuesday after the attacker had already gunned down her mother and half-brother at the time. The shooter took her own life as police arrived. Investigators have now taken down the yellow tape around the school. Premier David Eby says students won't be forced to return, and it's unclear if the school will ever open again. A veteran public servant and diplomat has been appointed as the next chief trade negotiator to the United States. Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing that Janice Charette will take over the position from former Ambassador Kirsten Hillman. She'll be at the table during the review of the North American Free Trade Pact. Charette has served as the clerk of the Privy Council and secretary to the cabinet. She also took on the role of High Commissioner to the UK. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is leading what he calls the country's most significant trade mission to Mexico as the federal government looks to diversify trade links. 370 delegates representing Canadian businesses from across the country are part of the trade mission. The trip comes amid U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs and threats to abandon the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement. Canadian trade with Mexico totaled $56 billion in 2024, and experts say there's a lot of potential to expand.
Mexico is a very large market. It's 4 times the size of Canada, almost in population. It has very strong industries, manufacturing industries, agriculture, and a growing market as well for Canadian exports, from anywhere from clean tech and climate tech, like we operate at Solfium, as well as many other sectors. And so I think more and more companies are seeing the opportunity to actually sell and export into the Mexican market.
LeBlanc is set to play a key role in the upcoming review of CUSMA, which Trump has called irrelevant. A Ukrainian delegation is heading to Geneva today ahead of expected peace talks with Russian officials. Senior Ukrainian and Russian officials are set to meet for another round of U.S. brokered talks tomorrow, aimed at finding a diplomatic route to ending the nearly 4-year war. Russia says main issues, including questions of territory, will be discussed in the talks. Moscow has continued to push Ukraine to cede control over the entirety of the Donbass region as a condition for peace. The Liberal defense strategy is expected to be announced later this week and will feature sweeping changes to how it supports the domestic defense industry.
It really is going to be an input into wealth creation for things that Canadians need and not just things that go bang. So if the government does this, it's going to be a real economic stimulus package like we haven't seen since probably World War II.
The $6.6 billion plan aims to help small and medium-sized Canadian businesses break into the defense industry. It pledges to create 125,000 jobs. The goal is to shift away from relying too much on the U.S. The strategy comes as Canada ramps up defense spending to meet NATO commitments. Conservative defense critic James Bazan says in part a lack of political will and leadership from the Liberals has left the Canadian Armed Forces in decay with just half our equipment ready for action. Conservatives will review this policy to ensure Canadian industries equip our armed forces with the best possible equipment as quickly as possible. The federal government's revamped electric vehicle rebate program went into effect today. Canadians are now able to access up to $5,000 from Ottawa to put toward purchasing a new electric vehicle. Plug-in hybrids are eligible for $2,500 in subsidies. The federal Liberals are spending $2.3 billion on the new incentive program. Construction of new homes was down in this country last month. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation says the annual pace of housing starts declined 15% in January. The seasonally adjusted annual rate was more than 238,000 units. That was compared with over 280,000 units in December. Actual housing starts were up over 1% year over year in centers with a population of 10,000 or greater. There's more news ahead, but first here's your full weather forecast with Rick Wyman. And Rick, I'm enjoying some of the numbers you are seeing tomorrow.
Yes, some nice numbers, but I just heard from one of my buddies who likes to sled a lot, and he said, you know what, we're trying to stretch this out, Rick, so give us a break. He's looking forward to that snow on Wednesday, and that's going to be right across the Northeast, so we'll have a look at that and a lot more. Forecast radar, we've got a system moving in. Mixed precipitation, as I said, as well. So again, possibility of drizzle, freezing rain, and flurries, so don't be surprised. Overnight conditions, pretty well standard right across the Northeast. Flurries and drizzle, again, mixed in with all kinds of, different conditions depending on where you live. It could result in ice pellets. You could get flurries. You could get rain, drizzle, freezing drizzle. So again, don't shoot the messenger. It's happening right across the Northeast. Here we go. Showers, flurries, once again continuing right through. So let's move on to the 7-day scoreboard. Sudbury Nickel Belt tomorrow mainly sunny, 4 degrees. Then we've got increasing clouds, some snow on Wednesday, -5, -4 Thursday. Chance of snow Friday, -4, -4 again. Cloud cover Saturday, Sunday, some sun and cloud, -5. You'll notice a consistency in temperature and conditions throughout the week. Sault Ste. Marie Algoma, mainly cloudy tomorrow at 4. Snow Wednesday at -2, -2 Thursday, cloud cover. Chance of snow Friday, -3 Saturday, cloud cover Sunday at -5. Now get a load of this. This is Timmins Cochrane Campus Casing. Chance of flurries for tomorrow, then -6 Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Wow. I wonder who came up with those numbers. You've got a cloud cover as well, so very consistent in terms of what you could expect in that particular area for the next 5 days. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, clearing tomorrow, 3 degrees, -5 Wednesday, Thursday -6, chance of snow Friday -6, -4 Saturday, and Sunday, cloud cover -6. You want consistency? Well, we've got more consistency here. North Bay, West Nipissing, clearing tomorrow at 4, -4 Wednesday, chance of snow. Thursday, some cloud cover, -4. Chance of snow, -4 Friday, -4 Saturday, and -4 on Sunday. So what do you prefer? -6 or -4 in that poker head, so we'll have to wait and see. So again, you'll take a look at the consistency in temperatures, not overly cold by any stretch, cooling down at night, but again, you're going to get some melting going on throughout the entire Northeast, mixed precipitation, and of course, snow not going away just yet. Let's take a look at our picks of the day. Okay, Wendy Lynn Hill, very patient with me. She got these shots from Sawpit Bay, Lake Superior near Sault Ste. Marie, and said, Rick, I sent you the pictures. Where are they? Wendy Lynn, we get so many pictures on a daily basis. Sometimes it's hard to actually figure out what's going to be shown. So again, I appreciate your patience. Thank you for the beautiful pics. I like the ice formation. So again, I love it. Thank you for sending in your picks. Joe Bowen in town today. Of course, we all know Joe. He's from Sudbury. He's retiring from the Leafs coming up shortly. We have his story and how he appeared at the Wolves game today, courtesy of Madison Marier earlier this afternoon. That's coming up a couple of minutes from now.
A Hanover family is heartbroken tonight following the theft of their dog. As CTV Scott Miller reports, they believe they were targeted because of the price tag attached to their canine companion.
Lucy's dog crate sits empty on Lauren Coates' kitchen floor, her food bowl still full of food. Coates says the 1-year-old Australian Kelpie they rescued 6 months ago and that was being trained to be her therapy dog was stolen on Wednesday while Coates and her partner were at work.
She's very valuable, and she's a loved family member of our family, and I need to bring her home.
Coates believes Lucy was stolen because of her breed and the price tag attached to Australian Kelpies.
A Kelpie can go anywhere from $2,000 to all the way up to $10,000.
Coates says she is aware of 3 other Australian Kelpies stolen in Grey Bruce within the past 2 weeks. She fears someone will start using Lucy and the others for breeding.
She's my therapy dog, and with my mental health, the way it's been going lately, she's the one that calms it.
Coates says the thieves who took Lucy also snatched her late mother's jewelry. She and her partner say they don't feel safe in their own home anymore. But she holds out some hope that Lucy will find her way back to them somehow.
I'm a firm believer in hope. Lucy actually is my hope. Lucy's always been my hope since the day we got her, the day we rescued her from a really bad situation.
Near Hanover, Scott Miller, CTV News.
A new study out of McMaster University identifies several key factors in children developing food allergies. As our health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, introducing certain foods early can help prevent them.
Eggs and milk are known to be common allergies early in a child's life.
Those tend to resolve by about age 6 to 8. In most individuals, about 80%.
But for the other 20%, food allergies can continue to pose a lifelong threat. McMaster researchers have been looking at 342 risk factors for babies developing food allergies.
International data, over 40 countries, and 2.8 million participants in 190 different studies.
They identified 4 factors as the most important: a family history of allergies, eczema as a baby, delayed introduction of common allergens such as eggs, peanut, or fish, and early use of antibiotics. Dr. Derek Chu says in some cases, antibiotic use in babies is essential, but in borderline cases, families and physicians should be aware it could be a factor in developing food allergies. Chu also says eczema is like a window to the immune system and an early indicator of a sensitive immune system.
What's showing in our studies that if you delay food allergen introduction, it actually increases the risk quite a bit, and consequently, if you introduce early, might protect.
Food Allergy Canada says this publication confirms that food allergy development in children is influenced by multiple factors. Early introduction and continued inclusion of allergenic foods, central to our Eat Early, Eat Often guidance, has shown promising results in reducing food allergy risk. Their website offers guidelines to introduce common allergens, like milk and eggs, to babies between 4 and 6 months of age, in the form of yogurt or mashed boiled eggs, for example, and make sure you keep them in your child's regular diet.
Risk factors are just risk factors. That means it's not a guarantee.
But he says being aware of them can allow us to monitor and tailor allergy prevention efforts for each child. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Canadians across the country marked Flag Day on Sunday. It's been 61 years since Canada adopted the red and white maple leaf flag we know today. To mark the occasion, the City of Toronto flew an extra-large Canadian flag at Nathan Phillips Square, and earlier last night, the Toronto sign was glowing in red and white to celebrate National Flag Day. In Barrie, one of the country's top flag printers has been especially busy this time of year. CTV's Mike Lang reports.
Flags Unlimited has been around for almost as long as the Canadian flag itself.
This new design flag was presented to Canadians in 1965. Flags Unlimited was founded in 1966.
Since then, the Barrie-based business has become one of the top flag producers in the country.
People last year bought more flags at this time of year than they had in any other year since we started, 60 years. We're talking thousands of flags.
all of them manufactured in this warehouse.
This is our season when we're gearing up for Canada Day as well. So we've got to make sure that we get all our product ready for to have in the stores so that you can get it for Canada Day.
Up in Huntsville, the downtown area full of national pride, showcasing the maple leaf, a program going strong since last year.
This was a program that our events and promotions team came up with, where we wanted to show our pride during a time that, you know, the tariffs were coming out.
Local businesses taking part by proudly displaying 40 flags, with more expected on the way.
These are small businesses in our downtown that really need our support locally, and tourists. It's really important to continue to support those small businesses.
Back in Simcoe County, the Flag Store calls National Flag of Canada Day their bread and butter for business.
It's a very busy time for us because we're also preparing stock for people that are wanting to freshen their flag for the springtime.
The stores in Barrie and Thornton will have their annual lunch and cake celebrations this weekend.
It's always a great sense of pride when people are asking to have their flags flown on their property or at their business, and we get very excited.
Mike Lang, CTV News.
80 years ago, a group of intrepid and no doubt nervous young women set sail from Liverpool, England to Halifax. It marked the beginning of one of the most unprecedented immigrant waves to hit Canadian shores. CTV's Nick Moore takes us to an exhibit honoring Canada's war brides.
About 1,800 European war brides arrived in New Brunswick during the Second World War, most in 1946. But Doreen Lawrence arrived a bit earlier in August 1945.
We went to Newfoundland first because we dropped off a regiment from Newfoundland and then came on to Halifax the next day. We stayed in Halifax overnight at a Red Cross hospital. Red Cross was very good to us. Everything was so well organized.
Lawrence was a guest of honor this afternoon at the official opening of a new exhibit honoring war brides at the New Brunswick Military History Museum at 5th Canadian Division Support Base, Gagetown.
As my brother says, I'm a proper Canadian now.
It's a culmination of almost, 40 years of work that I've been involved with.
Melinda Jarrett is a nationally renowned expert on Canadian war brides and is the exhibit's curator, which also celebrates a strong bond that war brides formed in the years after their arrival.
Once those ladies got here to New Brunswick, they embarked on a new life. They started families, and their ultimate contribution to Canada, I think, is that they became good Canadian citizens. It's a story of passion, romance, love.
Today I have 3 of my 2 daughters here, and I have 3 grandchildren. So I'm very proud to have them here with me.
Recognizing a remarkable part of the Second World War. Nick Moore, CTV News, 5th Canadian Division Support Base, Gagetown.
Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Holy Mackinac, a hockey legend, is celebrated today by the Sudbury Wolves.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
Today's Family Day game for the Sudbury Wolves was all about celebrating a legend and his storied career. CTV's Madison Marier has more now with Joe Bowen at the Sudbury Arena.
A special visit from the Sudbury born and raised Joe Bowen after announcing his retirement as the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, I'm coming home is what it is. It's a very special day. The Wolves have asked me to come up for a Holy Mackinac Day. We're going to raise some money, which is great for charity. They're selling T-shirts and the like. And they're going to have a pre-game ceremony for me at Center Ice, which will be a lot of fun. This is home, and it always will be.
Bowen began his career announcing the Sudbury Wolves games before heading out to the Leafs in 1982.
It is full circle. It really is. I mean, we had some wonderful teams here when I first started broadcasting back in the 1970s. Whoa, that's a long time ago. But it was a lot of fun. We had great teams, great players.
So we decided to honor Joe Bowen because not only is he from Sudbury, he started his career here with the Sudbury Wolves, which then expanded, of course, into being the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Back for one appearance, Bowen will be up in the Wolves broadcasting booth with his son David, announcing the game for those at home.
I am so very proud that he has done this all on his own, and he's very good. He's very, very very good. And so that will be the special part of it. His 3 older brothers will be watching the game on TV today and having some fun at our expense, I'm sure. But it'll be a special moment, not only for David, but for all of our family.
I'm just so proud of what he's been able to accomplish. He's a Hall of Famer and obviously a fantastic broadcaster, but more importantly to me, he's just been an awesome dad, and he's made sure that I could follow any dreams that I've had.
Bowen's catchphrase, Holy Mackinac, will be printed on t-shirts raising money for Play It Forward, along with signature sheets at his meet and greet. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
You may have noticed the unique jersey the Wolves players were wearing in today's game. The jerseys were designed by 6-year-old Maxim, who won the Real Canadian Superstore jersey contest. The young fan not only had his designs worn, but also had the opportunity to place the game puck this family day.
He wanted to make it bright, make people happy, make people smile, so it's a double exciting night tonight.
Because the color make me happy, and I want to make other people happy.
I hope so. I hope to get a goal for him. It'll be nice, and see him after the game.
Clayton said each goal scored by the Wolves will be to honor Maxim. Over in the OHL Friday night, the Sudbury Wolves would find a win against the Brampton Steelheads 4-1. The Sioux Greyhounds made a third period push to tie up the game. It would go on to a shootout in London, but the Knights would tally the win 4-3. The Greyhounds road trip would continue in Owen Sound Saturday against the Attack. The Greyhounds would again find themselves in a third period push that would take them to a shootout. This time the shots would go their way for a 6-5 win. The North Bay Battalion would play host to the Niagara Ice Dogs Sunday, allowing only 1 goal against for a 9-1 victory. Late tying goals, the story of the Greyhounds road swing. They sent the game today in Sarnia to the shootout for a third game in a row. The Hounds get stung 6-5 in the shootout. The North Bay Battalion pick up the win in Brampton, downing the Steelheads 5-3, and the Sudbury Wolves doing Joe Bowen proud with a 6-2 victory against the Niagara Ice Dogs. And a look at the standings after another action-packed weekend in the NOJHL. 2 more teams have clinched their playoff spots with only 4 weeks left to go in the regular season. The Sault Thunderbirds will be looking to close the gap on the Powassan Voodoos to steal home ice advantage. In the bottom half of the standing, there are still 3 teams in playoff contention with just 3 points separating Kirkland Lake, Blind River, and Iroquois Falls. Canadian curlers are trying to brush off a stone-touching controversy that has engulfed the Olympic tournament. Both Canadian men's and women's teams have been hit by accusations of rule-breaking. CTV's Garrett Berry breaks down the controversy.
The dust still has not settled at these Olympic Games after an eyebrow-raising, particularly tense curling match between Canada and Sweden's men's teams on Friday night. And at the heart of it all is not only the swearing by Canadian third Mark Kennedy towards his Swedish counterpart, but also a technical controversy.
Sweden had accused Kennedy of touching the granite part of the curling rock after releasing the handle. Curling officials then stepped up enforcement of rule violations at these Olympic Games. That move is quite rare in curling, a sport that has traditionally seen players enforce the rules themselves.
The first page of the World Curling Rule Book is titled The Spirit of Curling, and it's a lot of fluffy, poetic words about how, you know, yes, we have a rule book, but realistically, as long as everybody's just nice to each other, then the rule book almost doesn't even matter.
The extra enforcement seemed only to escalate tensions when an umpire intervened and pulled a rock thrown by Canadian women's skip Rachel Homan on Saturday night. It likely cost her a point in a 1-point extra end loss against Switzerland. Afterwards, she told reporters the situation was absurd, insane, that she was unfairly punished, and denied any wrongdoing. On Sunday, curling officials abandoned that enhanced scrutiny and went back to old procedures, where teams would have to request officials come and watch for violations.
Part of the issue, according to Canadian curlers, is that this is the sport's highest stage and not, they say, the place to change the rules or how they're enforced. Garrett Berry, CTV News, Milan.
We're about halfway through the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games. And over the weekend, the community of Thessalon gathered at the curling club to watch local biathlete Shiloh Rousseau race. The town has gathered for all her races to support the first-time Olympian. Rousseau finished 80th in the women's 7.5-kilometer sprint. The curling club will be offering another watch party Wednesday, February 19th, when Rousseau will compete in the 4x6-kilometer relay. There's been a lot of buzz around Team Canada curling, as you just just heard with Garrett Barry talking about accusations of burnt stones in both the men's and women's competition. The controversy isn't stopping either team from doing well. Sault Ste. Marie's Brad Jacobs picked up a pair of wins over the weekend and won 8-2 over Czechia this morning. The women lost their games over the weekend against Switzerland and Great Britain. The women were playing a doubleheader today, winning their matchup against China 10-5 this morning. In the afternoon, they played Japan, who lost their morning match to Korea. The Canadians would take an early lead and beat Japan 9-6. And Megan Oldham from Parry Sound is today's Canadian hero, snatching a gold medal out of Big Air. Oldham finished nearly 2 points ahead of her closest competition to take the top spot on the podium. The gold medal she won today pairs nicely with the bronze medal she picked up in the freestyle slopestyle competition last week. Lots of Parry Sound people screaming at the TV, no doubt. Well, legendary star of stage and screen Robert Duvall has died at the age of 95. According to a statement to CNN on behalf of his wife, the Oscar-winning actor, best known for The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, and other tough guy roles, died peacefully at his home in Middleborough, Virginia on Sunday. Duvall played a wide variety of roles, from cowboys to military men. The statement goes on to say no formal service will be held. The family is encouraging those who wish to honor his memory to do so in a way that reflects his life he lived by watching a great film. Well, dearest gentle viewer, David Daniel has Bridgerton news and more in today's Hollywood Report.
For beings from opposing worlds, the desire is not the problem, but the world itself.
Season 4 of Bridgerton has set up several new love matches, but will they all endure? And does this latest look at part 2 of the new season provide any clues? All will become clear when the rest of Season 4 premieres February 26th on Netflix.
I believe that humanity still has a fighting chance. I believe that you have the power to change our fate.
The fate of Terminator Zero appears to be sealed. Series creator Mattson Tomlin says Netflix has canceled the animated franchise reboot after 1 season. Tomlin posted on social media, the critical and audience reception to it was tremendous, but at the end of the day, not nearly enough people watched it.
We watch the news every night and we see all this conflict going on.
Here's a look at the first clip from The Ballad of Judas Priest. The documentary looks at the enduring influence of the Grammy-winning heavy metal legends. It just premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Today is the last day for Canadian customers to use their gift cards at Toys R Us stores. The toy store chain is ceasing to accept gift cards after Monday amid ongoing creditor protection proceedings that began earlier this month. Court documents show that Toys R Us has more than $36 million in outstanding gift card obligations. All this is part of the company's efforts to wind down operations. Only about 22 stores remain across Canada. And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $48.87, closing the day at $49.93.55 US an ounce. Silver down 83 cents to end the day at $76.58. Copper down 9 cents, $5.77, and nickel up 4 cents, ending the day at $7.71 US a pound. Rick is back now for one last look at the weather.
In a little bit of this and a little bit of that for tomorrow. How about some sunshine in Greater Sudbury for a while before the snow? Duvall and Timmins, chance of flurries, mostly cloudy. 4 degrees before the snow. So once again, change in temperature, change in conditions. Clearing in North Bay at 4, 2 degrees in Parry Sound, some cloudy skies. Clearing in Temiskaming Shores for the most part, so some sunshine. 3 degrees, and then some snow coming up on Wednesday. So it's going to be one of those weeks, a little bit of everything over the course of the next 5 to 7 days. Ian, back to you.
Lots of sunshine, loving what we are seeing. Thanks, Rick. Well, finally, the Winter Games aren't the only big event happening in northern Italy this month. Just about 2.5 hours away by train, there is another huge celebration taking place in Venice. NBC's Stephen Luke reports.
No, it's not Halloween along these canals. It's the famous 2-week Carnival of Venice.
Carnival, as they call it here, started centuries ago in Venice as a celebration of military victory, but through the years turned into a tradition with all sorts of other mischievous implications. Today, it's one of Italy's biggest tourism events, attracting millions to the city's small and winding canals and streets.
Hadn't been before for Carnival, didn't really know what to expect, but I think it's really cool. Definitely a lot of locals this time of year. I haven't seen a lot of international tourists.
For locals like artist Alberto Jimenez, who owns Blue Moon Venice, Carnival is a financial support beam for the entire year. Unlike most other neighboring shops importing masks from China, he made every single one of these papier-mâché and leather masks by hand.
There's so many cool little restaurants, cool little spots that you can really get lost in this city, I think.
With Italy's biggest Carnival celebration happening at the same time as the world's biggest winter sporting event, this year's festival got an extra boost, with crowds rising faster than the tide flooding St. Mark's Square. A perfect day trip from Milan's hockey rinks for a different kind of face-off.
That's our newscast this Family Day Monday. A very happy Family Day to you all. And if you are celebrating a very happy New Year, tomorrow is the Lunar New Year. And I know there are celebrations around our region to promote health and happiness in the months ahead. Gung hei fat choi. Because I'm here, Amanda Hicks is in tonight with your late night news. Make sure to tune in. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.